Welcome back to the Outfit Repeaters podcast. I'm Megan,
I'm Shelby.
and we are your hosts. This week we are discussing season 1, episode 5. I've got Rhythmic, which is arguably one of my favorite episodes, one of my most memorable episodes.
For sure.
But before we get there, Shelby, what are you reading and what are you watching?
So I finished finally because my Spotify let me have my hours back because if you don't know, Spotify only gives you like 10 hours of audiobook. And I finished the Seamstress of New Orleans.
And
And
spoiled it for me simultaneously. So
okay,
I will not be reading The Seamstress of New Orleans.
the ending was good. To get there, though, was kind of boring, so I wouldn't really recommend it to people. I'm just
Okay.
like, I didn't give it a high ranking on Goodreads. It took me a minute to like be like, okay, like, can we just finish this now? Like, the ending was good, but I was looking at the reviews on Goodreads, and some people were like, I figured this out early in the book.
Oh.
But yeah, it's okay. It's not something I would be like, oh my gosh, you have to read it. Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Fair. Okay.
I'm still reading my Catherine Medici book. Only, I have about 10 chapters left. And then I started Paris Hilton's memoir.
Yes. Do you love it?
It's so much, like, deeper than I thought it
It's
was gonna be.
It's a lot. And so, like, if you're at all, and I'm not just saying this to Shelby, I'm saying this to anybody listening or watching, if you are at all into, like, kind of true crimey type documentaries, if you didn't know, Paris Hilton goes through, like, a school that's not really a school. It's like a behavior reform program. I guess kind of like masquerading as a school, but there is a 3-part documentary on Netflix that's about that. And it's not about the school that she went to necessarily, but it's giving a lot of insight into those experiences, which is really, really good. So, if you listen to Paris's memoir and you are interested in that, I would also highly recommend that
I didn't know
3-part
that.
Netflix documentary. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but we'll, tag it on our Instagram.
Let's see what part I'm at. I'm in chapter 5, so I'm finishing part 1.
Okay. Yeah. So you're
So.
about to get into like the,
I won't spoil it for anybody, but she explained something that happened to her in high school that she's never publicly talked about, and I think you know what I'm talking about, and it just makes you really like feel for her a
yeah.
lot, and just I don't know. I feel like every time people talk about Paris Hilton now, I like her more and more. I've always loved her, but I like her more and more now. And she seems to be doing really great for herself, and I'm very happy for her. And if you've never watched The Simple Life, I think it's on Amazon Prime. That's where I watched it a few years ago.
I need to check and see because I actually never did watch that show. And so I'm like highly interested in it. I know it's like comedy gold.
I can't even explain to you how good it is. Like, her and Nicole Richie, actually, I'll check on Amazon Prime Video right now.
We are an educational podcast. We are research based. So
if
this
there's
is
anything about us is if we're gonna like look it up and see if we can confirm, we're gonna look it up and see if we can confirm.
yeah.
The Simple Life. Let's see. It was so good. I literally can't explain. Okay, well you can't stream it for free, but you can buy season 1 for $4.89.
That seems like a bargain.
And then they did a road trip one, which is also only $4. So, oh, no, I don't actually, no, I almost bought it. But yes, it was very good. I don't think you can stream it for free, but $5 for Paris and Nicole Richie Gold. That is so
That's
good.
women supporting women.
Absolutely. So what are you reading / listening to these days?
So I just started the tandem read in Throne of Glass. I've only done like the first section, so I'm only 75 pages into one book and then 11 pages into the other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nervous. It just feels like a lot. It feels like a huge undertaking, especially because like they are 700-page books. So like to be toting around a book that's this big is kind of crazy, but yeah, I'm ready. And I'm also like, this is like spoiler free, but I just kind of get to a point where I'm just like, okay, like now things are going to start to go the main character's way. And I don't know why I thought that. I'm like, girl, there's 3 more books in this series. Why did you think it was going to be like la-di-da? And like, I'm just going to skip into this next part with no like resistance. And so that's kind of where I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming, but I should have. And then I am listening to Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister on audio. Checked it out through the library. Shout out Libby. If you have a library card, you definitely need to download the Libby app.
I have that too.
But it's good. It's they're British, so like it's a British narrator, which I like, and it's told in reverse chronological order, which is kind of crazy. But I'm about halfway through, and I'm like kind of getting to the crux of why this is being told in reverse chronological order.
That's cool. That's really cool. That's kind of how The Seamstress of New Orleans was. It opens with, I don't think this is a spoiler because it's literally chapter 1. It opens with one of the female main characters' husbands dying, and she like witnesses it. And then it kind of goes, like, she's worried that somebody's gonna get her and her kids, and so. But it was good. Is it, like, something that I'm like, oh my gosh, you need to read it? No. No.
It's no Nightingale.
So,
Please tell me you've read The Nightingale.
I haven't. Is that the Kristen Hanna book?
Yes.
I want to read some Kristen Hanna, but everything else keeps getting in my way.
Okay, I need you to, like, stop what you're doing. The podcast is canceled until further notice. Shelby will go offline to read The Nightingale.
Is that the World War II one?
Yes.
I want to read it. I want to read that one and the Vietnam one.
Top 5 all-time favorite books.
That's so good. I hear really good things about that. I will just tell you something really wild happens at the end of Empire of Storms, and I just be ready. Just be ready.
I'm never ready. I'm never going to be ready.
Sarah never lets us be ready for anything.
Sarah. Bless.
But just if you did, I did the tandem read too, and people that read Empire of Storms and then had to just sit with that while they read 700 pages of Tower of Dawn. I don't know how you did it. I really don't. Because Empire of Storms ends on a major cliffhanger.
Okay.
So, and then when you get to Kingdom of Ash, I read 400 pages of Kingdom of Ash in one day.
Yay.
So, I was like, I'm finishing this today. So, but yeah. It's a good time, though. Okay. All right. So I will read today.
Okay.
This is, like we said, Season 1, Episode 5. I've got Rhythmic. Original air date is February 9th, 2001. And this is when Lizzie discovers that she has a natural talent for rhythmic gymnastics. And Megan and I both have a background in dancey world, sports, talent. So we're going to have a lot of thoughts and opinions about this one. Okay, so we open up with Lizzie walking in the hallway. She's walking up to look at the grades that are posted, which one I was like, that's a FERPA violation. You cannot ever do that. And then she's surrounded by kids that aced it, and this one girl is like, look out, Harvard. And then animated Lizzie is disappointed, and it says, surprise, another B. It's not bad, it's just a boring, bland, blah, blah again. Ever notice how everyone seems to be great at something? And then Lizzie goes through the hallway, and she sees, like, a ballerina who's very talented, and then a few other kids who are, and then, like, Tudgman and his friends.
The Tudge.
Yes, who were, like, doing some sciencey stuff. And then she walks up on Miranda, and Miranda's made a necklace of aluminum can, what do you call them, tabs?
Yeah, like the pop-top part of an aluminum can.
And she goes, hey, great necklace. And Miranda says, thanks, I made it out of soda cans. And animated Lizzie says, see what I mean? All I can do with the soda can is recycle it. I was not a fan of that necklace, but that's just me.
Yeah, I do have to say, in this, like, opening, like, where we're getting this in the hallway, I'm obsessed with the top that Lizzie is wearing. It
Yeah, me
is
too.
like an orangey with like bright pink and orange like flowers on it. And to me, it's like so reminiscent of the aesthetic of the show.
Yes, I noticed that top too. I really liked that one. So and it looks good with her hazel eyes and blonde hair, her short honey blonde hair.
Yes.
Yes. I was gonna say that too. And then Gordo has his camcorder, and where did I leave off? Animated Lizzie says Gordo is in search of his next documentary. I can barely take a Polaroid. And then they can tell that something's wrong with Lizzie. Miranda asks, what's wrong, and Lizzie says the English grades are up. And Miranda says, another B? Lizzie says, what else? I'm so sick of getting Bs. I want an A at something. Gordo says, you could be an actress. You look pretty good on the camera. And then a reoccurring theme that follows Lizzie throughout the rest of the series is Lizzie trips over something. And Gordo says, or you could have a future of being a stunt woman.
And I love the you could be an actress because that immediately made me think of the episode where Lizzie is an actress
Oh,
and
yeah.
gets all like diva-like and
I
has
love
to
that
like,
episode.
well, I mean, we'll get there when we get there. But yes, that's immediately what I thought of when he said you could be an actress. And I'm like, but she will be.
And then we cut to the girls in PE class again. They're lamenting about how much they hate PE. Lizzie calls it, or they're talking about Coach Kelly, and Lizzie calls it the Queen of Gymnasium, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a good little quip, Lizzie. And then Miranda says, evil PE sorceress. And this is where we got a shot of Coach Kelly as Elphaba.
Yep. With like basically like Crayola, just green arts and crafts paint on her face.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And then also we discover that they tried archery in PE, which there's just so many things that could go wrong with that. I couldn't imagine having middle schoolers doing PE. And when we find out that Lizzie accidentally shot her arrow and it popped Coach Kelly's tire, and Lizzie says she shouldn't park her car so close to the field.
Fair. That's assumption of the risk.
That's true. Coach Kelly says rhythmic gymnastics is a combination of gymnastics and ballet, requiring supreme skill and coordination.
And here I said, in this scene, Coach Kelly is just swinging a hula hoop around her neck. And I said, which arguably would take very little skill or coordination. So I don't think this is exactly a shining example of what they're getting themselves into.
That's what I was like, is Coach Kelly a gymnast and a ballerina? Because I don't think hula hooping around the neck is a gymnastic skill, and I know it's not a ballet skill. So, no. Lizzie says that she's gonna need floppy shoes and a red clown nose. And Lizzie says, you've got to be kidding me. Real Lizzie said that. And then Miranda says, this is a pimple on the face of women's sports. Lizzie, you think she gets paid extra for humiliating us? Coach Kelly says that you can use the ball, the hoop, the clubs, or the ribbon, or any combination, but let's just start with the basics for today. And then Lizzie says they don't make the boys do this type of stuff. They get to do all the cool things. And Coach Kelly asks for volunteers, and Miranda a little too loudly says, nope. And then immediately grabs Coach Kelly's attention. She's like, Miranda, did I just hear you volunteer to demonstrate? And she's like, and she's like, then why don't you show us how it's done? And she was like, okay. And then she like just kind of tosses the club. Was it the club or the hula hoop or whatever it was? She just kind of like.
It wasn't the club because Kate uses the club.
Oh, that's
it
right.
was, I don't remember.
I think it was the hula hoop.
It might have been.
Because Lizzie uses the streamer.
Yeah. And I love how Coach Kelly is asking for a demonstration, but she has yet to demonstrate anything. So, like, you're just putting equipment in someone's hand and being like, do what you think you're supposed to do with that. Good luck.
Yeah, like, that's what I said too. I'm like, how are they going to demonstrate when they've never done this before? So Kate, in this episode, Kate really reminded me of who she actually ends up being, like, her tone in which she, like, talks to people, and her hair and her outfits. She has her big pageant hair. And, so, yeah, she was more Kate that we know in this episode, in my opinion. Coach Kelly says, Kate, why don't you show us how it's really done? Like, Kate has any experience doing this at all. And she says, okay, let's see if I can. And then she gets the clubs and she tries to juggle, which looks hard. And she drops it on her ankle, and to which she sustains an ankle injury for the rest of the episode. And every time you hear her limping around, you get this little, like, doink, doink.
And I said, like, later, but it's relevant now, like, those clubs are not, like, big or heavy enough that they would have caused an injury that would have had her limping for days on end.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, Kate. And then I also was like, she's probably just being dramatic.
As Kate does.
Then Kate fails miserably, and Coach Kelly says, looks like you'll be needing a little extra practice, Kate. And Kate says, there must be some mistake. I'm good at everything. Can I just try again? And Lizzie, in this whole ordeal where Kate has injured her foot or her ankle or whatever, Lizzie has been laughing uncontrollably, and Coach Kelly also notices that, and she says, Lizzie McGuire, something amusing you? And Lizzie's like, no, not really. And she says, then amuse me with your ribbon skills. And she says, Coach, I don't really think I know how to flunk. You need some help. Lizzie says, no. And then animated Lizzie, oh wait, no, she does her demonstration before animated Lizzie talks.
And I have to say, when Coach Kelly passes Lizzie the ribbon, there is literally a lightning strike when it touches her hand. And again, we are reminded that the post-production in the show is immaculate.
Yes.
Every single time.
And can we just talk about Lizzie's demonstration for a second? Because she gives us nothing. I have, like, okay, in baton pass, my majorette pass, we have used streamers in the past. Like, that, she's literally just, like, tossing it side to side. And then, did you see her turns? Or that little turn she did? She was not in passe. She had her foot turned in on her supporting leg. I was just like...
But it's slow motion, and everybody is just shock and awe as they're watching, like they are watching the next ribbon prodigy right before their eyes.
They are acting like they are watching Simone Biles out there doing her floor routine. Like, and Lizzie is just giving us nothing. Absolutely nothing.
We know this about Lizzie. We know this about, respectfully, about Hillary, is that when it comes to visual arts, such as dancing, she gives nothing. She has nothing to give.
And then Coach Kelly also notices that Lizzie is a natural, and animated Lizzie says, well, that's just perfect. I find the thing I'm great at, and it's the stupidest thing on the world. What's next? River dancing?
And I love here that when animated Lizzie is river dancing, it starts as one, and then it multiplies into like 5 that are simultaneously river dancing, and that made me cackle.
Yes, that one was good. So we're in the girls' locker room, and they're getting ready for class. Kate goes up to Coach Kelly and says, Coach, I figured out why I dropped the clubs. See, I still had moisturizer on my hands and to keep my skin soft and supple. Can you believe it? Anyway, I was just seeing if I could have a second chance, if that would be at all possible. Coach Kelly, okay, Kate. And Kate's like, and like she hands her the streamers, or the ribbons, I should say. And Kate says, now? And she's like, yeah. And Kate's like, it'd be my pleasure. And of course, Kate is standing there. Lizzie and Miranda are watching. And Kate, very, like, scathingly says to Lizzie, she's like, I don't care if this is dorky. It's one more thing I'm better at than you are. Watch and learn. And then Kate fails miserably. And she gets tangled up and all around her ankles. Her ankle, which when she is limping now, is doing the little doink, doink, doink noise. And Coach Kelly's like, are we finished now? And then Kate says, there's something wrong with this stupid ribbon. And then she's like, okay, bye, Kate, thanks. And then she asks to have a moment alone with Lizzie. And animated Lizzie says, thank goodness my best friend would never leave me alone with Coach Kelly. And then Miranda sprints away. And she says, maybe it's time for that best friend talk. To which I said, I thought at the pool party episode, we weren't using the term best friend anymore.
You know what? I had forgotten all about that already because it was so lame.
Yep. Plot hole. Plot hole. Just found it. Coach Kelly says, Lizzie, in all of my years of teaching, I've never seen someone take to rhythmic gymnastics like you. You're like a duck to water. You're like a bird to the sky. Animated Lizzie says, you're like a Lou to the Zer, which I thought that was funny. Real Lizzie, well, I guess it was pretty good. And then Animated Lizzie, this one I didn't like. She said, I'm good at burping. Does that make it a sport? Ew.
You would say that.
Ew. Coach Kelly. Lizzie, I want you to represent our school in the upcoming rhythmic gymnastics regional competition. You're an incredibly talented athlete. She has no preparation for this competition at all. Like,
what about a qualifying event?
Exactly.
You can't just go straight to regionals.
Like, oh my gosh, like, she has no preparation at all. That'd be like me putting batons in my younger kids' hands and being like, okay, competition's next week. Go do it. Like, that's just not good. Lizzie says, really? And she says, no, but you're good at this. Animated Lizzie, that was almost a compliment. Maybe I should think about this. And then we see Miranda. We cut to them in the hallway. Miranda, Kate, and Lizzie. Kate and some of the other cheerleaders, I'm assuming, are laughing and giggling. And Miranda, who is not scared of Kate, says something funny, and then Kate says, yeah, your friend. Shots fired. Tell her she must be really proud to have her finally found her calling, Queen of the Ribbon Dorks. Miranda, face it, Kate, you're just mad because she's great at something that you stink at. And I think, isn't Gordo, like, capturing all of this on camera? Because he's filming his documentary about Lizzie.
Well, he doesn't yet know that it's a documentary about Lizzie, but...
Oh, he's just using this for later.
Yep.
He's keeping receipts. So Kate, like, makes an angry face and gives a whatever and then walks off. And then Miranda says something that I feel like we said a lot in the early aughts. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya.
Love it.
So Gordo's there and he's filming this whole exchange. And then Gordo says, what did Coach Kelly want? Lizzie says, well, and then she kind of like fast-paced explains everything that happened again, and that Coach Kelly says that she has a gift at rhythmic gymnastics, and that she should be competing. And then she says, but I shouldn't do it, right? I mean, we think this whole thing is kind of ridiculous, don't we? And Miranda's like, no, it's cool. Lizzie says, oh, come on, Miranda. I think we all know that rhythmic gymnastics is a little bit lame. Miranda, lame is such a strong word. It's lame-ish. But, and then Gordo says, but I have a topic from my documentary, The Making of a Champion. And then they kind of sum it all up with, it's something that she's better at than Kate's, so she's going to do it. So, good for her for finding something she likes, I guess. Well, she doesn't like it, but she's better at it than Kate. Okay, I thought this next exchange was kind of funny. So we're with Lizzie's family in their kitchen, and she's filled her family in on the rhythmic gymnastics stuff. And she says, so you think I should do it? And Joe says, an Olympic sport? Absolutely. And then Sam says, maybe next time they'll have the Olympics someplace really cool, like Hawaii or Orlando.
Or Orlando. Yikes.
I mean, no disrespect to Orlando. I mean, I'm wearing a Disney World shirt right now, so I do love some Disney in Orlando, but...
But it has nothing in comparison to Hawaii.
It doesn't. Lizzie, don't you guys think rhythmic gymnastics is a little lame? And Matt says, ding, 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 we have a winner. His little smart mouth self. Sam says, Matthew. Lizzie, see, even lame-o knows that it's lame. Matt, well, thank you. Hey, wait a minute. Lizzie, then again, how many talents do you get in one lifetime? Matt, well, I have 6. 1 is that curly Q thing I can do with my tongue. 2 is saying anyone's name backwards. Tarzan, Nazrat.
And I have to say, Nazrat lived rent-free in my head my entire childhood.
Really?
Nazrat.
Nazrat.
Nazrat. I love it. I'm obsessed with it.
Nazrat. This next one just made me cringe. 3 is eating spoonfuls of wasabi.
No.
4 is, and he gets cut off here. Lizzie says, "You always said I could do anything that I set my mind to." And then Matt turns to Sam and goes, "Really? Well, you never told me that."
And here I said, this must be what it's like being a boy mom, is selectively having to not tell the boy that you can do anything you put your mind to, because they're going to inevitably do something like jump off the roof using a sheet as a parachute.
Well, that's what Matt does. He wants to be a stuntman eventually, remember?
That's true. That's true.
So you have to pick your words carefully when you're a boy mom, I think. So then Lizzie, we see her have a dream sequence later that night where it says, "The gold medal goes to Lizzie McGuire," and the crowd chants, "Lizzie, Lizzie, Lizzie." So she decides to go all in with rhythmic gymnastics. At school the next day, Gordo says, "We can't push Lizzie." He's with Miranda, and they're just like lounging on the courtyard, which Miranda had these really tall pink platform sparkly flip-flops on.
Oh, I've detailed this entire outfit. He is wearing a shirt with pink sleeves and embroidery, and then the jeans that she's wearing have the same embroidery on the cuffs of the jeans. She has pink scrunchies in her hair, and then, as you said, the pink platform flip-flops. And here the color coordination is chef's kiss.
Yes, agreed. I missed cuff jeans with like embroidery on them from when I was little.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wear them now.
I had 2 pair that had stuff down the like seam on the leg.
Oh, I did too.
One was just like a leather strip, but it was like a zigzag cut leather strip, and then the other they were like little ties that had like little beads on the end of them. And I thought I was hot stuff wearing those jeans.
I think I'm going to get a pair of jeans. I've seen them around at a few boutiques. They have little bows down the side on the seam.
Cute.
And they're not like ribbon bows. They're like denim material bows.
Yeah.
They're really cute. Sorry, there was something. Tarzan, Nazrat. Okay, Gordo is talking to Miranda, and he says, "We can't push Lizzie into doing something shameful." Gosh, Gordo. Just because I want to make a documentary and you want to one-up Kate. Miranda, we can't? Oh, you're right, we can't. Gordo says being humiliated during puberty can have deep, lasting psychological consequences. And Miranda says, "You've been into your dad's shrink files again, haven't you?" Which we found out in the last episode that he reads his therapist, mother and father's files.
HIPAA violation.
HIPAA. Someone call HIPAA. And then Gordo says his Tuesday 3:30 is really scary. Like this 13-year-old is judging you. That's so wrong. Lizzie walks up, and they said they need to talk to her. And she was like, "Okay, good. I've been up thinking about rhythmic gymnastics all night, and I've had a big change in attitude." And they're like, how do you feel about that?" Lizzie says, "I can win at this. I know I can. I feel strong and determined, and I want to find something I'm good at. And I found it, so I'm 100% going for the gold." Miranda says, "You are?" And Gordo says, "We've had a major breakthrough. And then what do we do now?" And he says, "Lights, camera, action." And then we have the training sequence.
Well, before we get to the training sequence, I do need to point out, I am pretty confident that in this scene, Lizzie is wearing the same pants from the title sequence. Because they're like orange and like tie-dye and like, it's giving like Sunburst. But they look like suspiciously like the same pants. So I did have to point that out.
Oh, that's cute. I'm going to go back and watch that and look. Okay, so the training sequence. We start in seeing a sign on Lizzie's door that says, "Don't come in, I'm practicing my gymnastics." And I'm like, how are you practicing gymnastics in your bedroom with those streamers and whatever? We also see her waking up super early and
5 a.m.
5 a.m. Hate
And
it.
here we have to point out that she's waking up at 5 a.m. and Gordo's already got his camera in her face. So is he
Yeah.
so committed to this documentary that he has gotten up early, I assume gotten his parents to drive him to Lizzie's house before 5 o'clock in the morning so that he could be in her face when the alarm goes off at 5.
I would be so mad. I'd be like, get that camera out of my face, dog.
Yes.
If you didn't listen to the last episode, that was Ethan Kraft's only line in the camping episode. What else does she do? We see her drinking raw eggs.
Well, Joe hands her a glass of, looks like 5 raw eggs, and every single time she hands it to Lizzie, Lizzie puts them in a pan to scramble them.
Literally. Like, I don't like eggs at all. Raw or scrambled. I just don't like eggs. It's a texture thing.
That's been my number one pregnancy food aversion has been eggs, which has been a huge struggle for me, so.
Oh, because you're an egg person, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I don't like eggs. Not at all. Never have. Never will. And then we see her training with Coach Kelly, Major, and Coach Kelly is doing a one-on-one training with her, and she's like, "Move it, McGuire."
Coach Kelly is on a bicycle with the ribbon tied to the handlebars of the bicycle, and Lizzie's just running with the ribbon while Coach Kelly is on the bicycle, and I'm just like, how does this help her rhythmic gymnastics routine? Like, what does this have to do with anything?
I don't know, unless they're like boosting her cardio so she can get through the routine, but
she's already running stairs, so what's the need for that?
And there's, oh wait, no, I was thinking about the song that's in her routine, which was kind of a bop, The Eyes on You. That's the routine though.
Yeah.
But then we see Lizzie being absolutely exhausted at the end of the day and at school the next day. And Miranda makes an early 2000s reference saying, "You look like Nev Campbell at the end of Scream." I personally have only seen Scream maybe once, and I don't remember who Nev Campbell is or what she looked like at the end of the movie.
I've never seen it, so.
It's good. It's good. It's funny. It's not scary. Lizzie says, "It's really good compared to the way I feel. I'm hurt. I'm tired. I'm hungry. And I wish they'd vote me off this island." Is that a Survivor reference?
It is! And of course I noted, I was like, Survivor call out, hey girl.
Gordo, wow, morning superstar. Did I mention how great you look on film? This making of a champion is turning out so cool. You better get your Oscar speech ready. Kate walks up and says, "Well, if it isn't Little Miss Rhythmic Gymnastics," animated Lizzie. "Well, if it isn't Little Miss Club Foot." Kate says,
And it is so tragic that this is not something Lizzie says out loud, because this is
right.
just a perfect insult. But here I do also have to point out, Kate is walking up with pink on pink. She's got like a pink top with a pink zip-up jacket over it, and it's got a fur-lined hood.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I loved her little fur-lined hood. But yeah, Lizzie should say these things and not let Miranda fight her battles against Kate for her. And then Kate, I've seen this meme on the internet so many times, this next line that says, "What's your email? Lizzie@biggiantloser.com." I see that on so many Instagram posts. It's crazy. Gordo steps up to the plate and says, "Could you say that one more time?" Sorry. Tarzan, Nazrat.
Okay, sorry.
Gordo steps up to the plate and says to Kate, "Could you say that one more time? I'm trying to cast the part of the bitter, talentless girl."
Snaps for Gordo. That one's incredible too.
Lizzie says, "Kate, you're great at everything. Why can't you just let someone be better at you than one thing?" Kate says, "I'm not about to sit back and let the dorks take over. You better watch your step, McGuire."
Ooh.
Lizzie, "I'm not the one in the ankle brace."
That's pretty good. It's no club foot, but
yeah,
it
works.
She's serving what she needs to serve in this moment.
Yes. She's trying to keep the peace. Coach Kelly, we see Lizzie practicing outside with Coach Kelly. Kate is green with envy. Literally.
I literally said that she's green with jealousy. They have this like green, like iridescent coating all over her, and like there's like a sizzling sound.
And she just looks so mad that
She
Lizzie
does.
is good at gymnastics, and rhythmic gymnastics.
Rhythmic gymnastics, not real gymnastics.
Not real gymnastics.
Very different sport.
And she just can't stand it. And we see Lizzie practicing her toss cartwheel and other little rhythmic gymnastics moves. And then Kate starts devising up a plan. Okay. And then Kate goes to find Larry Tudgman.
Good touch.
I think he's been mentioned and maybe had a couple little seconds on camera, but I feel like this is the first time we've really seen him in action and in a conversation, right?
Yeah, this is the first time Larry has lines.
Yes. And so Kate finds him in the science lab, and the music when Kate walks up is like that same Danny Kessler on the school bus.
Anyways, it's like a sexy, jazzy little saxophony little.
Yeah, little saxophone playing, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And of course Larry falls for it, like
Hook, line, and sinker.
yeah, like Larry, you're so smart but so dumb. Kate says, "Hi, Larry." Larry, "Hi, Kate." Kate, "You know my name? I didn't even think you noticed me." Come on now. Larry, "Yeah, me not notice you. Right." And then Kate's talking about his whatever experiment he's doing, and she says, "Wow, that looks so complicated." Larry, "No, not really. I'm just growing some penicillin-resistant strains of bacteria." And Kate's like, "Oh." And he's like, "I'm just kidding. It's mold."
And I said, that doesn't make it better, Larry.
If anything, it makes it worse. Kate says, "Of course it is, Larry. Larry, could I ask you a little favor?" And then we don't see what the favor is, but we know that Kate is up to something diabolical.
As always.
Lizzie is in the kitchen, and Jo walks in with her costume, her unitard. And she says, "Do you want to try this on? Something smells good. What are you baking?" And Lizzie says, "Chocolate chip cookies." And Jo immediately, on her mom radar note, says, "What's bothering you?" And Lizzie says nothing. And then Jo talks about all these different scenarios when Lizzie was anxious that she made different baking goods. Animated Lizzie says, "What's bothering me is I'm trying to win a gold medal in geek." Lizzie confesses that she's just a little stressed out about the gymnastics meet. Jo tries to give her some confidence, say she's so good at it and she's been working so hard. And the important thing is you're doing something you love and giving it your best shot, and we'll be proud of you no matter what. But I have a feeling you're going to win. Matt says, because he walked in at this point, "Of course she is. She's dork champion of the world." So little brother-esque. And then we see Lizzie at her competition. Gordo's there filming for his documentary, and he says, he's watching her like warm up. Gordo says, "Plucked from obscurity, Lizzie McGuire has overcome insurmountable challenges." Has she, though?
And I have to say here that when you're getting the pan of like all of these other young ladies that are practicing and warming up or whatever, Lizzie easily has the worst costume out of everybody.
Oh, I noticed that too.
Like there's no bling. It's not a great color. It may be a school color, which is fine, but like there's no bling. You need bling. I'm sorry. You just
yeah. In gymnastics or rhythmic gymnastics even, I think you need bling. Just my thing. So Lizzie goes up. Oh, one thing I did notice when they announced her school was announced North Hills Junior High, which we know from later on. That is not her school name. It's Hill Ridge Junior High.
Ooh, plot hole.
Yup, plot hole. Miranda's also there, and she's doing her routine. And Lizzie's doing her routine. She's doing great, and she does her toss cartwheel. And she just tosses. She's doing this all with her hula hoop, and she tosses it up. And Larry Tudgman has been waiting up at the rafters and sticks a broom out and pulls Lizzie's hoop in. Because
two things I have to say here. Number one, is that as a child, like, I clearly didn't notice that there was, like, a stunt double performing this routine. Because the stunt double has, like, a full-on bob, and I said the stunt double's bob is bobbing.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I said the planning that this would have required for Kate to have known that there would be an opportunity to even pluck the hoop from Lizzie,
Right.
and for them to also know that there would be exposed rafters in which Larry could hide to pluck the hoop. It's like, this was just like a whole different level of planning, and just the whole thing is just diabolical because of the level of planning it required to execute this plan.
Right, Kate, girl, like, you really need to move on. Like,
Don't you have a cheer to learn or something?
yeah, like, can't you just go do your cheerleading thing and let Lizzie do her rhythmic gymnastics thing? But yeah, so Miranda notices Gordo staring up at Tudgman in the rafters, and Lizzie, like we said, throws her hula hoop up, and animated Lizzie says, "Note to self, bring extra hoop," and she has a post-it and posts it on her forehead. Gordo comes in and saves the day and throws her a ribbon to finish her routine out with, and I guess she just improvs. And in all of that, Miranda has found her way up to the rafters and is now threatening Tudgman with a fire extinguisher. And she says, "Drop it, Tudgman." And then Larry says, "I can't. Kate won't love me anymore." Again, he's so smart, but so dumb. And then Miranda says, "Maybe this thing is empty. You feel lucky, Tudgman?" "Huh? Do ya?" And then eventually he throws the hula hoop back down to Lizzie. She catches it, and Kate is just jaw dropped, so angry and upset. She storms out, and Gordo confronts her. He says,
Well, she limps out.
Well, she limps out.
With bing, bing.
Gordo says, "Going somewhere, Kate?" Kate has been caught red-handed, and she says, "Just getting a little air." Gordo says, "Tell it to the camera, sunshine." Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
And in her first competition ever, Lizzie gets first place. Yay!
And I said here, just based on the warm-ups that we saw alone, this would have never happened. Like,
No, never.
These other girls are doing leaps, they're doing turns, they've got full-on splits. The girl that goes right before Lizzie, her ending pose is with her in like a picture a pigeon pose that you do in yoga, but she's got her back leg like pulled up behind her head, which is like an extreme case of flexibility. So like Lizzie with her little forward roll would have never won first place in her first competition.
Oh my gosh. No gold medal, Lizzie. And then her parents come up to her and they're like, "Oh, we're so proud of you, our little champion. You were great, sweetie." And she's like, "Thanks." She's visibly like not excited. And she says, "Can I just be honest with you guys?" And they're like, "Yes, always." And Lizzie says, "I totally appreciate how supportive you guys are." And they are automatically like, "Oh, we love it. You don't have to thank us. You're so great." And Lizzie says, "I wasn't finished." Pause. Her parents are like, "Oh?" And then Lizzie says, "No, really, you guys have been awesome. And when the hoop was missing, it was the happiest moment of my life."
Drama.
Literally. Her parents are confused, and Lizzie says, "I hate rhythmic gymnastics." Joe says, "But you're so good at it." Lizzie says, "Yeah, well, that's just about the only part that I do like. But if I don't like it, why would I waste my time doing it? I'd rather work extra hard at something I do love, even if it takes a little longer. Is that okay?" Sam says, "Of course."
And here I said, can't relate because I just want to be good at everything.
I see why she didn't want to waste her time doing something she didn't want to do, but maybe she would learn to love it. Who knows? And Joe says, "Whatever you decide to do, your dad and I will be there cheering for you." And she says, "Even if it's dog sledding across Alaska?" And Sam says, "We'll have to watch that one on TV." And then we see Gordo, Lizzie, and Miranda, and she says, "You guys really saved my butt." And he's like, "We did. We know, but you can pay us back somehow." Lizzie says, "Hey, whatever happened to that's what friends are for?" Miranda, "Please, that is so last millennium," which is something else that a lot of people said in 2001, because that was only 2 years prior. Lizzie, "Oh, so, Gordo, do we finally get to see your masterpiece?" Gordo, Actually, it turned out a little differently than I planned. Miranda, do you realize what this means? Lizzie, yeah, solid proof that Kate Saunders, not Sanders, is actually jealous of me. So I thought that was interesting because in the first few episodes, they do call her Kate Saunders, but later it changes to Kate Sanders.
Sanders, yeah.
Yes. So Lizzie's, I guess the next day at school, she goes up to the board looking for her grades. Again, FERPA violation. And we kind of do a repeat of her originally walking down the hall and having a different mindset on people's different talents. And the same people are there that were there last time. And animated Lizzie, like we said, has a different perspective. And she says the people that were up there making A's, she says smart, but destined to be lonely and dateless. Lizzie. The ballerina, too skinny and destined for a double bunionectomy. True.
Nasty.
True. And then Tudgman and his friends, destined to be gazillionaires. And then they, like, ride off in a convertible. And she says, call me. And next she says, as for my destiny, well, let's just say it doesn't involve ribbons and hoops. I'm thinking more along the lines of first woman president, space explorer, Mrs. Matt Damon. Whatever it is, I'll keep you posted.
Love.
And we end it there, and we get outtakes.
Outtakes.
I don't really remember the outtakes.
I don't either.
Stood out to me. Okay. All right. What was your favorite line / moments of the episode?
The whole thing was so good. I mean, Nazrat, we know, has lived free in my head for a very long time. I would say Gordo saying to Kate that he's trying to cast the part of the bitter, talentless girl is probably the peak of the episode.
Literally. I liked Sia wouldn't want to be a
Classic.
And then my favorite outfit was either Lizzie's orange top at the beginning or Kate's fuzzy hooded jacket.
Those are my two as well.
Those were good. So, do we have any last thoughts on the episode or things we want to point out?
I loved it. I've always loved this episode. I actually, as a child, had a ribbon dance instructional kit. So I did have my own ribbon and a VHS tape that taught me the techniques of a ribbon dancer. So I found a picture of that on the internet. I will be posting that on our Instagram if you want to check that out.
Absolutely.
I wish I had a picture of me doing ribbon dance when I was a kid, but I don't. But no, I've always loved this episode, and watching it again, it hits just as hard as it did, 25 years ago.
I feel like this is one where they really get into the groove of the characters and their storylines, and they only build from there.
Absolutely. Agree.
So, next, I don't remember what we have next week.
Okay, next week is season 1, episode 6, Jack of All Trades. This is where we get the gang taking the career aptitude test, and also the subplot of Lizzie and Gordo switching projects because he thinks that Mr. Pettis is trying to give him the shaft on his grades. So, very good one. Also a memorable episode because we get, more of that slapstick, explosion, disgusting stuff that, kids of the early aughts love. So, excited to recap that one.
Phil Diffie's dad comes back. All right. Thank you for joining us, and make sure you tune in and catch up if you haven't, and watch A Jack of All Trades and follow along with us.
If you like us, we can be found on Spotify and YouTube and eventually Apple Podcasts. We would love it if you would go ahead and rate us 5 stars. Please share this episode with a friend if you love it, and follow us on socials. We are the Outfit Repeaters Pod.
Yes. Until next time, we're outie.
Bye.